What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Movie Bits. My name is David.
And I'm Tony.
And we're coming to you with a episode review of
Loki, episode 6, the season finale.
Here we are. We have arrived. This one is called For All Time, Always. This episode won't be too long. There wasn't a lot that happened. It's just a lot of story explained, a lot of exposition.
Yeah, resolution. That's what it's about. Resolution.
Right. So where do we end off? We ended off with
them, with both Loki and Sylvie working in tandem to enchant Alioth, and then seeing the big castle at the end of time, which leads us to the opening, where you see all these different universes, black holes, and eventually it leads to this big misshapen rock at the end of time, and you get to see the time streams all around the rock.
Before he goes on, I did like the opening sequence. Usually you hear like the Marvel music or something that happens during those opening credits. This time all we heard was dialogue from different Marvel movies, which is cool. I think they were trying to show, hey, these things are kind of all happening at the same time right now.
Yeah.
That was cool. On different timelines.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So they get outside the door, they walk up and they're talking, and Sylvie tells Loki, give me a minute. Like, I was pruned before you were even born. I've been waiting for this my entire life. So he's waiting, and so as soon as she gets done saying that, the door just opens to welcome them inside.
Right. Yeah. And as they're walking inside, they're inside this dusty castle, it looks like. And then who pops up? Miss Minutes.
This
I know. Now, in the first episode, we said that Miss Minutes was so cool. I liked her. I liked seeing the character. But I felt sad. I wrote down, oh no, Miss Minutes is a villain. Like, that just confirmed it.
I knew that last season.
I felt terrible.
Last episode when she was flipping through, like stalling for time.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, not Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes knows what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
So she knew everything the entire time.
Right. So they ended up saying to Miss Minutes that they make their own destinies or something of that nature as they were speaking to her. And
she
before
went to make a deal
disappears,
to them. She said that that they could be placed somewhere in a timeline where they could be together, spend the rest of their lives together, and that basically, what did she refer to him? The overseer of the timeline?
I forget.
Yeah, she basically said that they offered them a deal, and when they didn't take the deal, she promptly disappeared.
Yeah, they said, they control their own time, and she said, sure you do, and she disappears.
Yeah.
So that brings back the question of, which happens a lot in this episode, is there such thing as free will? That's what I wrote down here in my notes.
Yes.
So then, we get to the back of this grand hall, and this elevator comes down, and the elevator doors open, and who's sitting there but
Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. So this was great, especially after WandaVision with the Mephisto debacle. We all know what happened. Everybody who reviewed WandaVision was Mephisto hype. Oh, it's going to be Mephisto. Mephisto's going to pop up at the end somehow. What was the Agatha is really working for Mephisto. Fake Pietro is really Mephisto in disguise. Everything came back to Mephisto every week. Every single reviewer, Mephisto hype. Mephisto never showed up. To this day, we have not even heard his name referenced in the MCU. So this was really great, especially since we did know that that Jonathan Majors was cast as Kang. That news came down a few months ago. So it's exciting that they actually did the full reveal here and did not wait until the Fantastic Four were in swing in the MCU. So it paid off, and all you reviewers out there didn't get Mephisto'd.
Now, what I did like about this review, I don't know, we were expecting like the makeup and the whole outfit, but it wasn't. It was just him in a robe. It felt very much like Wizard of Oz, oh, here's the wizard revealed in these grand robes and this like crazy kind of decor, and just like the wizard kind of just telling them, hey, it's been me this whole time, and I'm not the villain here. I'm not as bad as you think I am. It's kind of like what Dorothy went through when she met the Wizard of Oz. He's not really a villain. He kind of just fell upon this job.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of suspected that they weren't going to put Jonathan Majors in all that ridiculous comic book Kang makeup because there's no reason to. He's not an alien. He's not a created being. He's a descendant of Reed Richards. He's a human being. So it makes sense that they would leave that aspect out of it.
Right. So when they meet him, of course, Sylvie, there's the question of whether or not to kill him. And she does take a few swings at him.
Yes.
Especially when they're on the elevator, but he kind of just teleports away.
With the temp
he ends up telling them, he's like, I've read the script. I know what's going to happen. And then later he does actually show them a script of lines. Everything that they're saying.
everything that's supposed to happen. Tells them that, I preloaded the tempad for all the times, for all the, attempted murder that's going on here. So this is how you can confirm that I'm telling the truth about this entire deal.
Right. So at the same time, we cut back to Mobius and Renslayer, who are having this conversation about pretty much morals.
Yes.
And, Mobius is pretty much just trying to convince Renslayer, you don't have to keep supporting this. We found out that this isn't true. We're all variants. What are you fighting for? And Renslayer is just determined to find the person that's controlling it all because she's still stuck in this idea.
Yeah,
that what they're doing is right.
That it means something. And really, Mobius just went to prune her to get his revenge. But, and then he's taunting her all the way up until the moment he gets his revenge. And then when he attempts to get his revenge, Renslayer easily disarms him and chooses not to prune him a second time. I mean, what would be the point? From her perspective, she probably would feel like he would just make it back. So she walks away and says that she is going to, get some free will for herself. So, and that was the last we've seen of Renslayer in the episode, so that was left open.
Right. So then we find out from Kang that the Kang that we're seeing, the one that isn't decked up with comic book makeup and all that stuff, you find out that he discovered that there were different universes, timelines happening simultaneously, and that he could travel to these other timelines and meet himself. And he said, now in the very beginning, it was very peaceful. There was no drama. But then eventually, different variants of himself were trying to conquer the other.
They would all meet up. They would exchange technology. So the technology
to make each other's universe
to improve the quality of one another's universes, and the technology of the TVA essentially comes from this sort of, which basically they did the Council
Meeting of Great Minds.
They did the Council of Reeds. This happens in with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four comics, where Reed Richards, they all from all across different universes, they meet up at this one particular spot, and they bathe in one another's hubris. So this is this is the same,
right? So you find out, they're meeting
a true descendant of Reed Richards. When he's explaining it, I'm sitting here thinking he's definitely Reed Richards' descendants because this is out of the Reed Richards Fantastic Four playbook.
Right. So they're meeting. I'm sorry, guys. It's early in the morning. We watched this 3:00 in the morning. So they're meeting, and you find out that a war had begun. Now the different Kangs, some of the Kangs are trying to conquer some of the other universes. And this particular Kang had created the TVA to prune those timelines to prevent this multi-universe war from happening. And now Sylvie and Loki are faced with the choice. What are you going to do now? Because Kang is like, I don't know what's going to happen from here. You got two choices here. Either you kill me, and then someone far worse takes over.
A far worse Kang, or the two of you can take over the TVA and rule it going forward. He says that he's old, he's lived eons, he's tired. Either way, you know what I mean? The situation, either way, it's just over for him.
So, of course, Sylvie wants to kill Kang. She wants to get her revenge. And Loki does not want to kill him. He feels like there's a bigger thing that's happening here, is much bigger than their own stories. He even says that to her. Then they get into a fight, which made me sad.
I mean, we had to have an action sequence, and that was the one action sequence that we really got
right.
in this entire episode. So you get a Loki versus Sylvie fight, which was all right. And, in the end, Loki jumps in front of her when she gets away from him and tries to strike Kang, and she doesn't strike Loki. And he tells her, I know how you feel. I have been there. She gives him a kiss with tears in her eyes. First time they get the kiss, all romantic.
But I knew it when she kissed him. When she repositioned herself, she kind of like turned him around. And I said to Tony when I was watching, I was like, oh, she's going to stab him now. She's going to kiss him and like reach out her arm and like stab him or something. Yeah. It didn't quite work out that way. Instead of doing that exactly, she kissed him, then pushed him away through a portal
that she created with the TemPad that she snatched off of Kang's
right,
desk.
And he ends up in the TVA.
Yes.
And then, of course, she turns around and stabs him. And as she's
stabs
stabbing,
Kang in the heart, he looks her right in the face, like with a smile on his face, like, girl, like good thing. You made the decision. That's nice. Right. Nice for you.
Then he said,
I'm out.
But then he said, I'll see you again.
I'll see you again. And so then we cut to Loki in the TVA. They're all running around. You see crazy branches. You see branches off of branches.
Yeah.
So it is real. And TVA agents running around like crazy. Loki starts running around. None of them are paying attention to Loki. Loki finds
Mobius and B-15.
And they do not recognize him.
They're like, who are you?
He's trying to explain to them what has happened about meeting Kang. And they're like, who are you? And it goes off. So,
no, you see a statue.
Well, of Kang. You see this big statue of Kang in the TVA. So it's already happened. Another Kang has taken over the TVA. We've already done some mind erasures. It looks like if they don't know who Loki is, they probably no longer remember that they're variants either. So the TVA has been restored by a new Kang, and like the Kang said at the end of time, that some Kangs are conquerors, and that's the type of Kang that we're aware of.
That's the one we're about to get
from the main Marvel universe in the comics, the 616 universe. It's Kang the Conqueror. So this Kang is now making way for the real Kang.
Yeah, so I really liked the episode. It felt like an opportunity. I don't know, as an actor, the whole episode felt like a very long monologue for Kang. Just broken up with like little scenes in between. Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, how long was this script? Oh my God. Like as an actor, I've done Shakespeare before, but I'm like, this must have been pages and pages of dialogue. So hats off to, what's his name again?
Jonathan Majors.
Hats off to Jonathan Majors for memorizing all of those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, the end credits, the music, I always say the music is fantastic. Yeah. This time, the theme felt very much like foreboding. It had like a rhythm to it. It kind of felt like, oh, Kang is coming. Like it felt like Conqueror music.
I think we switched. It switches towards the tail end from Loki's theme
to like a
Kang's theme to submit that Kang has arrived in the MCU and going forward, Kang the Conqueror has arrived in the MCU. Not Kang the Wizard. At the in the Emerald Castle, you know what I mean? But like the Kang that is going to bring the pain. So it was a cool episode. It resolved the show. It did its job. It wasn't very action heavy,
but I liked it, and I liked the stamp. The end credits. You see people just like sorting through papers and flipping switches and stuff. There's a stamp that appears that says Loki will be back for season 2.
Yes.
Now I like that too because it kind of felt like, is Kang even controlling our viewing experience? Like, is he aware? It was kind of like, it was like stamped on a folder. Like, does he know that we're watching too? So I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah. Are we variants?
Yeah, are we variants? Is this a different? So yeah, that was it, guys. Thank you for coming on with that journey with us. We look forward to some other Marvel shows that are coming out. What's coming up next?
Yeah, the next show is going to be Marvel What If. I have no idea when it comes out, but everyone's talking about it. And in that, it's going to be, we're going to do a story about what if, I think it's what if Chadwick Boseman was Iron Man. I think that's one of the what ifs.
Okay.
And I mean, what if, not Chadwick, what if T'Challa was Iron Man? And that is Chadwick Boseman's final performance as T'Challa will be his final voice performance.
Right. I'm sorry, we got a kitty.
Yeah,
I'm upset.
Our cat has cranky morning things. He needed a treatment he's not happy about receiving.
All right, guys. Well, if you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's early in the morning, so Hopefully you're not up super early watching this like we were.
Tell us what you think. Are you happy, excited that no one got Mephisto'd, that Kang actually showed up?
Hashtag Mephisto'd.
Sound off in the comment section below.
All right, guys. Till next time.
Peace.
Bye-bye.